Welcome to Coder Beans. This is part 7 objects of our JavaScript step-by-step series. There will be a quiz at the end to check your knowledge on objects in JavaScript. Objects in JavaScript are collections of key-value pairs. They're used to represent entities with properties and behaviors. Now let's learn how to create an object. First, we write a comment like this. / creating an object. Let person equal sign, name Alice. Age, 30, is student, false. All statements belong to object will go inside these braces. Each property is a key value pair separated by a colon. Property name is without quotes, while value will be inside quotes. Now, let's learn method 1. Accessing object properties. You can access object properties using dot notation or bracket notation. Console.log person.name. This command will output the name as Alice. Console.log person age. This will output age as 30. Modifying object properties. To change the value of an object property, simply assign a new value to it, like this. Person.age = 31 console.log person.age. It will output age as 31. Adding and deleting properties. You can add new properties to an object or delete existing ones as like this. / adding a new property person.country. = USA / deleting an existing property delete person.isStudent.log person. It will output as name Alice, age 31, country USA. You can see country property USA is added and student property is deleted. Objects are versatile data structures. They can store various data types, including arrays and even other objects. This flexibility makes them suitable for representing complex data models and structures. To find a property in an object in JavaScript, you can use a few different methods. Here are some common ways to do so. Dot notation. You can access an object's property using dot notation by specifying the property name after the object. Const person = name, Alice, age 30, const name = person.name, console.log name. It will output as Alice. Bracket notation. Bracket notation allows you to access object properties using a string that represents the property name. This can be useful when the property name is stored in a variable. Const person = name Bob, age 25, const property name = name, const property value = person, square bracket property name, console.log property value. It will output as Bob when hasOwnProperty method. You can use the hasOwnProperty method to check if an object has a specific property. This method returns true if the object has the property and false if it doesn't. Const person = name Carol, age 35, const hasName = person, hasOwnProperty name a console log hasName. It will output as true. In operator, the in operator checks if an object has a specific property and returns true if it does. Const person = const hasName = name in person, console.log hasName. It will output as true. Using a ternary operator, you can use a ternary operator to check if a property exists and provide a default value if it doesn't. Const person = age 22, const name = person.name, person.name unknown, console log name. It will output as unknown. You can loop through the properties of an object in JavaScript using various methods. The choice of method depends on your specific requirements and the level of control you need over the iteration process. Here are some common ways to loop through object properties. For in loop, the for ... in loop allows you to iterate through the innumerable properties of an object. Const person = name Alice, age 30. For let key in person, console.log key plus colon space plus person square bracket key. It will output as name Alice, age 30. This loop iterates through all innumerable properties of the person object and logs the property names and values. Object.keys method. The object.keys method returns an array of the object's own innumerable property names, which you can then loop through using a for of loop. Const person = name Bob, age 25. Const keys = object.keys person, console.log keys. It will output as name, age, / using for of to loop through keys array for let key of keys, console, log key plus colon space, plus person square bracket key. It will output as name Bob, age 25. This approach is useful when you want to iterate through an object's own properties, excluding properties inherited from the prototype chain object.entries method. The object.entries method returns an array of the object's own innumerable property key value pairs, which you can loop through. const person equals sign, name, Carol, age 35 was 4, let key, value of object entries person, console.log, key, plus colon space plus value. It will output as name, Carol, age 35. This method is suitable when you need to access both the property names and their corresponding values. Object.getOwn property names method. The object.getOwn property names method returns an array of all property names, including non-enumerable ones. Const person equals sign, name David, age 40. Const property names equals sign, object.getOwn property names person. 4. Let property name of property names, console.log property name plus colon space plus person square bracket property name. It will output name David, age 40. This method is useful when you need to access all properties, including non-enumerable ones. Remember to choose the method that best suits your use case, taking into consideration the need to include or exclude inherited properties and the specific properties you want to access. How to add a method to an object in JavaScript. You can add a method to an object in JavaScript by defining a plus value. It will output as name, Carol, age 35. This method is suitable when you need to access both the property names and their corresponding values. Object.getOwn property names method. The object.getOwn property names method returns an array of all property names, including non-enumerable ones. Const person equals sign, name David, age 40. Const property names equals sign, object.getOwn property names person. 4. Let property name of property names, console.log property name plus colon space plus person square bracket property name. It will output name David, age 40. This method is useful when you need to access all properties, including non-enumerable ones. Remember to choose the method that best suits your use case, taking into consideration the need to include or exclude inherited properties and the specific properties you want to access. How to add a method to an object in JavaScript. You can add a method to an object in JavaScript by defining a function and assigning it as a property of the object. Here's how you can add a method to an object. / define an object const person equals sign, name Alice, age 30 / add a method to the object person.greet equals sign function, and console.log / call the method person.greet. It will output as, hello, my name is Alice and I'm 30 years old. In this example, 1. We define an object named person with properties name and age. 2. We add a method named greet to the object by assigning it a function that logs a greeting message using the object's properties. 3. We call the greet method using person.greet, which results in the method being executed. It's important to note that when you define a method in an object, you can access the object's properties and other methods using this keyword within the method. This allows you to work with the object's own data. You can also add methods directly to an object at the time of defining. Const person equals sign, name Alice, age 30, greet function, console.log, person.greet. You can also add methods directly to an object using ES6 object method shorthand, const person equals sign, name Alice, age 30, greet, console.log, person.greet. This shorthand syntax makes it even more concise to define methods as properties of an object. In JavaScript, this keyword is a reference to the current object. It is used within object methods and functions to access the properties and methods of the object to which they belong. The primary purposes of using this keyword in objects are as follows. Accessing object properties. When a method is called within an object, you can use this to refer to the object itself and access its properties. This allows you to work with the data specific to that object. Const person equals sign, name Ashraf, age 30, greet function, console.log, person.greet. It will output as, hello, my name is Ashraf and I am 30 years old, referring to the current object. When you have multiple instances of an object, this keyword helps distinguish which object you're working with. It ensures that each object accesses its own properties and methods. Const person1 equals sign, / name Alice, age 30, const person2 equals sign, name Bob, age 25, function greet, console, log, / assigning, greet function to person, one object person1.greet equals sign greet, / assigning greet function to person2 object person2 dot greet equals sign greet person1.greet. It will output as, hello, my name is Alice and I am 30 years old, Person2.greet, it will output as, hello, my name is Bob and I am 25 years old. In the above example, we created two objects, person1 and person2, then assigned greet function to each object. We use this keyword to distinguish which object we are working with when accessing the object's properties. Creating reusable code. The this keyword allows you to create more reusable and generic code. By using this, you can create methods and functions that work with the data of the specific object that calls them. Function greet, console.log. Const person 1 equal sign, name, Alice, age, 30, greet. Const person 2 equal sign, name, Bob, age 25, greet. Person1.greet. It will output as, hello, my name is Alice and I'm 30 years old. Person2.greet. It will output as, hello, my name is Bob and I'm 25 years old. This keyword allows for dynamic and context-aware code, making it an essential part of object-oriented programming in JavaScript. It ensures that objects can interact with their own data and methods, enabling code reusability and flexibility. In JavaScript, you can create objects using the new keyword in combination with a constructor function. A constructor function is a regular JavaScript function that is used to create and initialize objects. Here's how you can create an object using the new keyword and a constructor function. Create a constructor function. Define a function that will serve as the constructor for your object. This function typically starts with a capital letter to indicate that it's a constructor. Function person, name, age. This dot name equals sign name, this dot age equals sign age. Create an object using the constructor. Use the new keyword to create an instance of the object. When you invoke the constructor with new, it creates a new object and sets the properties and methods defined within the constructor. Const person 1 equals sign new person Alice, 30. Const person 2 equals sign new person Bob, 25. Access object properties. You can access the properties of the newly created object using dot notation. Console.log, person1.name. It will output as Alice, console.log, person2.age. It will output as 25. The new keyword creates a new object, sets the value of this to the new object within the constructor, and allows you to initialize object properties. This is a common pattern in JavaScript for creating custom objects and is often referred to as constructor-based object creation. Here's a complete example of creating and using objects with a constructor function. Function person, name, age. This dot name equals sign name, this dot age equals sign age. Const person 1 equals sign new person Alice, 30. Const person 2 equals sign new person Bob, 25. Console.log, person1.name. It will output as Alice, console.log, person2.age. It will output as 25. Constructor functions are a fundamental way to create objects in JavaScript, and they can include methods and properties to initialize and work with object instances. In JavaScript, you can create an object using the new object syntax, which is another way to create objects in addition to constructor functions. Here's how you can create an object using this method. Using new object, you can create an empty object using the new object constructor. Let person equals sign new object, adding properties and values. After creating an empty object, you can add properties and values to it using dot notation or bracket notation. / dot notation person dot name equals sign Alice, person dot age equals sign 30 / bracket notation person name equals sign Alice, personage equals sign 30. Alternatively, you can add properties during object creation by passing an object literal to the new object constructor. Let person equals sign new object, name Alice, age 30. Console.log person, it will output as name Alice, age 30, accessing object properties. You can access the properties of the object using dot notation. Console.log person.name. It will output as Alice, console.log person.age. It will output as 30. Here's a complete example of creating an object using the new object syntax. Let person equals sign new object, person.name equals sign Alice, person.age equals sign 30, console.log person.name. It will output as Alice console log person age. It will output as 30. This method is useful when you need to create objects dynamically and add properties as needed. However, for more complex objects or when creating multiple objects of the same structure, using constructor functions or object literals may be more convenient. Here's an example of an object in JavaScript that contains various data types, including variables, another object, an array, and a function. Const complex object equal sign, name John, age 35, address or street 123 Main Street, city Exampleville, postal code abc.o, hobbies, reading, hiking, cooking, say hello function, console.log, / showing a complex object in console log complex object. It will output as name, John, age 35, address, street 123 Main Street, city Exampleville, postal code ABCDE, hobbies, reading, hiking, cooking, say hello, function, say hello, / accessing properties and invoking the function console.log complex object.name. It will output as John console.log complex object.address city. It will output as Exampleville console log complex object hobbies 0. It will output as reading complex object say hello. It will output as hello, my name is John and I'm 35 years old. In the above example, one complex object is an object that contains name and age as variables. 2. Address as an embedded object with its own properties. 3. Hobbies as an array of strings. 4. Say hello is a function that logs a greeting using the object's properties. You can access the properties and invoke the function using dot notation. This demonstrates how you can create complex objects with a mix of data types and behaviors in JavaScript. Getters and setters in JavaScript. Getters and setters are special methods in JavaScript used to control access to an object's properties. They allow you to define the behavior of reading, getting, and writing, setting property values. Getters and setters are used to add an extra layer of control, validation, and encapsulation to an object's properties. They are particularly useful when you want to perform actions or checks when reading or assigning values to properties. Here's how to use getters and setters in JavaScript. Using getters. A getter is a method that gets the value of a specific property when that property is accessed. It's defined using the get keyword followed by a function. Getters are used to retrieve the value of a property, possibly after some computation or validation. Const person equals sign, first name, John, last name Doe, get full name, return bar shui. Console log, person full name. It will output as a John Doe. In the above example, the full name getter retrieves and returns the full name of the person object by concatenating the first name and last name properties. Using setters. A setter is a method that sets the value of a specific property when that property is assigned a new value. It is defined using the set keyword followed by a function. Setters are used to validate or modify the value of a property when it is being assigned. Const temperature equal sign, underscore Celsius, 0 / note, the underscore convention for private properties. Get Celsius, return this, Celsius, set Celsius value, if value, minus 273.15, console to error, that's below absolute 0. Else, this, Celsius equal sign value. Temperature. Celsius equal sign 25 / setting the temperature in Celsius console.log temperature at Celsius / output 25 / attempting to set an invalid temperature. Celsius equal sign minus 300. It will output as that's below absolute 0. Console.log temperature.celsius / output 25 unchanged. In the above example, the Celsius setter ensures that the assigned value is not below absolute 0. And it logs an error message if an invalid value is provided. Why use getters and setters? 1. Encapsulation and data. Validation. Getters and setters allow you to encapsulate and control access to object properties. They enable you to perform data validation and ensure that property values remain within certain constraints. 2. Computed properties. Getters enable you to compute property values on the fly, making it easier to maintain consistency in your data. 3. Backward compatibility. You can introduce getters and setters to existing objects without changing the property access syntax for clients that use those objects. 4. Code maintainability. Getters and setters improve code readability and make it easier to add additional behavior to property access in the future. Overall, getters and setters are valuable tools in object-oriented programming for enhancing the control and functionality of object properties in your JavaScript code. Prototypes in JavaScript. In JavaScript, you can add properties or methods to a constructor function or its prototype after the constructor function has been created. This is a common practice to extend the functionality of objects created from that constructor. To achieve this, you can work with the prototype chain. Let's explore how this is done. Adding properties or methods to a constructor function. To add properties or methods directly to the constructor function, you can simply assign them to the function itself. Here's an example of adding a method to a constructor function. Function person, name, age, and this.name equals sign name, this.age equals sign age, // adding a method to the constructor function person.prototype, greet equals sign function, console.log, const person 1 equals sign, new person, Alice 30. Console.log, person 1, it will output as person, name, Alice, age 30 // If you open the prototype of person object in console // you will see the greet function under prototype person 1, greet. It will output as, hello, my name is Alice and I'm 30 years old. In the above example, we added the greet method to the person constructor function, and instances of person can now call this method. Working with object prototypes. In JavaScript, each object has a prototype, which is an object that acts as a template for the object. When you access a property or method on an object, if the object itself doesn't have that property or method, JavaScript looks up the prototype chain to find it in the object's prototype. For constructor functions, the prototype is accessible via the prototype property of the constructor. You can add properties or methods to this prototype, and they will be available to all objects created from that constructor. Function animal name. This a name equals sign name // adding a method to the prototype animal, prototype, say hello equals sign function, console log, const dog equals sign new animal, buddy, const cat equals sign new animal, whiskers. Dog say hello. It will output as, hello I'm buddy, cat say hello. It will output as, hello I'm whiskers. In the above example, the say hello method is added to the prototype of the animal constructor, making it available to all instances created from it. Object prototypes are essential in JavaScript as they allow you to share methods and properties across multiple objects, which promotes code reuse and more efficient memory usage. You can add, modify, or extend prototypes to add common behavior to objects created from constructor functions. Math object. The math object in JavaScript is a built-in object that provides a collection of mathematical constants and functions, allowing you to perform various mathematical operations in your code. It does not require instantiation, and its methods and properties are accessed directly through the math object. Here are some common use cases for the math object and how you can use it in JavaScript. 1. Math constants. The math object provides several mathematical constants, including math pi, and math, Euler's number. Const circumference equals sign 2 radius, 1 math methods. Math offers a wide range of mathematical methods for performing operations like rounding, exponentiation, trigonometry, and more. Some common methods include math.round, math.ceil, math.floor, math.trunk, math.pow, math.squart, math.sin, math.cause, and math.random. Math.round. The math.round method rounds a number to the nearest integer. If the fractional part is equal to or greater than 0.5, it rounds up. Otherwise, it rounds down. Let rounded number equal sign math.round 4.7, console.log rounded number. It will output as 5 rounded number equal sign math.round 4.2, console log rounded number. It will output as 4. For more detail built-in objects, please check our website. Link is in the description or search it as coderbeansblogs.blogspot.com in Google. Knowledge check, quiz. Here are 10 multiple-choice questions to test your knowledge about objects in JavaScript. For answers, please check our website. Question 1. What is an object in JavaScript? A. A primitive data type. B. A collection of key-value pairs. C. A function. D. A loop. Construct. Question 2. How do you access a property of an object in JavaScript? A. Using square brackets. B. Using parentheses. C. Using the dot notation. D. Using colons. Question 3. Which of the following is not a way to create an object in JavaScript? A. Object literals. B. Constructor functions. C. Create object method. D. Object. Create. Method. Question 4. What is the purpose of a constructor function in JavaScript? A. To create and initialize objects. B. To perform mathematical calculations. C. To declare global variables. D. To create loops. Question 5. Which keyword is used to access the current instance of an object within its methods? A. This. B. Self. C. Object. D. Current. Question 6. What is an object prototype in JavaScript? A. A template for creating new objects. B. A mathematical concept. C. A loop construct. D. A data type. Question 7. How can you add a property to an object prototype in JavaScript? A. Using the extends keyword. B. Using the prototype property. C. Using the new keyword. D. Using the super keyword. Question 8. What is the primary purpose of getters and setters in JavaScript objects? A. To perform mathematical calculations. B. To control access to object properties. C. To create loops. D. To declare global variables. Question 9. Which operator is used to access object properties? A. Plus B equals C dot D colon colon. Question 10. What is an object literal in JavaScript? A. A string that represents an object. B. A mathematical formula. C. A pattern for creating objects. D. A syntax for defining objects directly in code. That's it for this part, objects in JavaScript. Hopefully you have learned something from this video tutorial. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our Learn JavaScript series. Stay tuned for more exciting JavaScript concepts and coding skills at CoderBeans.